Have you ever wondered what it's like to get your first role at a tech startup? I've had the chance to work with 5 different tech startups, and today I'll be going over my journey from a personal trainer at a gym to landing my first tech startup role. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Edwin. I currently work at an insurance technology startup as a senior associate business systems. At the same time, I also run my own small service business, which is an exterior property washing company. And as of recent, I just started creating content for YouTube. But in this video, I'll be sharing my journey of landing my first tech startup job and the necessary steps I took to get there. Working in a technology startup has been such an amazing experience. I've worked at 5 different tech startup companies, and I've learned and I've grown so much over the years. But how exactly did I get here? Let's rewind a little bit. Back in 2012, I was a personal trainer at a luxury gym in Jersey City, and I was also competing in men's bodybuilding physique shows. During that time, I'm gonna tell you one thing, I was extremely broke. I had no particular skills except lifting weights and certainly no direction in life. Most of my clients were people working at hedge funds, major financial institutions like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and then tech companies as well like Google and Microsoft. And I've honestly learned so much through the interactions with all these people. I started to develop my communication skills, and I got a glimpse into the lifestyle where I didn't have to worry about money. I wanted to walk in the same direction as they were heading because I was only making about $25,000 a year at a gym. So after about 7 years working at the gym, I decided to take a leap and go to community college in my late 20s. So if I didn't feel old right now, at that point in my life would have been a turning point of me feeling old. But at the same time, I also landed a data entry job at a law firm. It was great at the law firm. Everything about the company was old school though. And by old school, I mean they were still using fax machines type of old school. But this is where I learned how to manage my time and tasks because I've never in my life worked at an office setting, and this was a great introduction. So it was tough. It was really tough to balance working part-time at a gym, working part-time at a law firm, and then going to college full-time. But I was extremely motivated, so it didn't really bother me. So about after 2 years, I graduated community college with honors, and I earned my associate's degree in business management. And after that, I wanted to pursue my bachelor's degree, so I applied to a few universities, and I got accepted into Rutgers Business School to pursue my bachelor's in management information systems. So I quit the law firm and I landed a job as a customs brokerage specialist, which was just at a import-export company. At Rutgers, I literally learned so much about business, and I felt like I was one step closer to getting that role in the tech startup field. So I learned project management, marketing, supply chain, and database management. And we were highly encouraged to sign up and apply for internships. So in my last year of college, I applied to numerous internships. I mean, I went crazy with it. I used Angels Lists, The Muse, Built-in NYC, and LinkedIn, and to keep track of all the applications, because I was tossing out like hundreds of applications, honestly, and filling them out non-stop. I created a spreadsheet, honestly, and I kept track of the roles, the name of the company, and the status of each of those applications. So in late 2018, I received an email from a company called eMarketer inviting me to an interview for their CRM intern role. I prepared extensively reading about the company and trying to understand the role because I honestly had zero idea because I had zero experience in tech. But the interview went well, and a few days later I got the offer. I was extremely happy about it. But at that time I was also facing a tough decision. Do I leave my full-time job at the customs brokerage company, for an internship, that might not lead to a full-time role. So I decided to take the leap, and I joined eMarketer as their CRM intern. My first day there, walking into their Times Square office was such a surreal experience, honestly. I had zero tech experience, so I walked in there extremely nervous and not sure what to expect, you know what I mean? Because I had zero experience with anything that they were going to give me. But as time progressed, I learned a lot in that internship. I've worked with another colleague who was another intern working with me at the time. She was great. And we had a mentor who was basically the Salesforce architect or Salesforce administrator, basically the brains behind Salesforce for the company. Man, he was great. I felt so bad because he was consistently busy and drowned with work, and I felt guilty always asking a question. But I asked the question. He was very nice and always helped us out. But joining an internship and a company of that caliber, I was just like, oh, what do I do? I've started learning about roles, so account managers, customer success managers, engineers, product managers, analysts, SVPs, BDRs, SDRs, all these roles. I was like, what the heck is this? I have no idea what any of this is, But like I said, as time progressed, I learned more and more. And to help me navigate through the entire internship, I used YouTube and Reddit like anybody else would, and I learned how to be proactive, reading and researching. And the number one thing that you should do when you have an internship is be proactive. So after about 8 months into the internship, everybody knows that it comes to an end at one point, and I was really bummed that I knew that my time at the company as an intern was coming to an end. And unfortunately, on top of that, they didn't have a full-time role to offer me. So I went into major panic mode. I just gave up my full-time job for this internship, in hopes of landing a full-time role right after. But that was a risk I was taking, and I knew the risks and the consequences behind it. So I started applying for numerous entry-level roles, mainly those that surround customer success associate roles. I knew those were pretty much entry-level roles, reading Reddit. And I ended up landing an interview with a company named JustWorks, and the position was for a customer success associate. The interview process at JustWorks was extremely intense, but exciting nevertheless. I prepared thoroughly, honestly. I went and I researched about the company, their mission statement, their values, their goals. I also went and I read interview experiences from others in Glassdoor, so use those resources. They're there. The office culture was crazy. I was essentially given a tour of the entire place before the interview began, and I was introduced to like foosball table, a console room where they had just straight up consoles in there, Xboxes, PlayStations. They also had drinks on tap, and by that I mean they had like cold brew and like kombucha. I don't know who drinks that, but I mean, that was an option there. It was great. Like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And like, one other thing that caught my eye was all the dogs that were in the office. There was a bunch of dogs in there. So yeah, I learned that you can bring your dog into the office, as long as they were trained. But it was crazy, I was like, what is this? And I was honestly hyped. It went well overall, like after the tour was done, I ended up doing an interview with 3 different managers, at 3 different times. It wasn't all at once, and each one offered a different perspective on the company and the role itself. So it went well overall, for my first um, startup interview, if that makes any sense. One thing everybody needs to do prior to interviewing with any company is to make sure you do your research about the role, about the company, its history, and their mission and values. Telling you, you would have to do that. Preparation, I'm telling you, is literally half the battle. So if you're prepared, it will be much easier to communicate and also display confidence, even when you feel extremely nervous about it. So after the interviews were all done, I was escorted to the exit by the last manager, and as we walked out, I saw a company all hands meeting happening where customers were invited for a fireside chat with the founders of other startups. I walked out of that building blown away by what I saw in terms of culture. It was mind-blowing, honestly. It just was. I never experienced anything like that. But I mean, a few days later, I received the offer. I was excited. I obviously accepted, and it occurred like right after graduating, so everything fell into the right position, I would say. That summer was a roller coaster. But landing my first internship at eMarketer and landing my first tech startup role at JustWorks was the catalyst for my journey into the tech startup world, I would say. I've enjoyed the ride ever since. I've been working in startups for like 5 years, I would say, or so. But yeah, that's pretty much it. In a future video, what I'll do is I'll go into more details in terms of each of the roles that I've had in the 5 startups that I've worked for, and what a typical day like that would look like. Thank you so much for watching. If you really like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Your support would really mean a lot to me. And it will help me create more content in the future. I plan on releasing one every week. But yeah, thank you so much. So I'll see you guys on the next one.